Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, October 22, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related questions that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let's just take a look at what the US National Hurricane Center is showing on their 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that we still have Hurricane Tommy right there to the north of the northeastern Caribbean, and we now have a 60% chance of tropical cyclone formation of the system in the southwestern Caribbean, and we can see that it's now pointed in a direction towards the north. Before we look at that system, let us focus our attention on Tommy. We can see that it is located right there to the north of the Leeward Islands. It is currently moving towards the northwest at 9 miles per hour, and it is packing maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. And we can see that it is expected to move to the north, then to the northeast, then possibly back towards the west, which is why the cone of uncertainty looks like that the farther out we get around Thursday to Friday. There is a lot of uncertainty. The Hurricane Center is not really sure what's going to happen. As it relates to that era of possible tropical cyclone development in the southwestern Caribbean, it states here, showers and thunderstorms continue to show signs of organization in association with a low pressure system located over the southwestern Caribbean Sea. Environmental conditions appear to be favorable for development, and a tropical depression could form before the system moves inland over Nicaragua by early Tuesday. Regardless of development, this system could produce heavy rains over portions of Central America during the next couple of days. So it's expected to move towards the north, then push into Nicaragua. And if we take a look at what the ensembles from the EURA and the GFS are showing, we can see that most of them have the system moving towards the north and then towards the west, possibly as a tropical depression in the blues, tropical storm in the greens, some of them making it up to hurricane status in the yellows, and we can even see one stray model making its way eastward and then possibly skirting western Jamaica. We know that's definitely not going to be happening at all. The Euro models, something similar to what the GFS models are showing, more of a northern then a westward track into Nicaragua. And we can also see that as it relates to the intensity forecast, most of these models have the system moving towards tropical storm status. Then we can see that it starts to die down immediately, considering that it is crashing into land. Alright, let us focus our attention on the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have a cold front right there across the northern portion of the North Atlantic, stretching all the way down into portions of the Bahamas and eastern Cuba. We can see that we have a trough right there to the west of Jamaica and another trough to the east of the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that trough affecting portions of the Cayman Islands, Honduras. We can also see the clouds associated with that other trough to the east of the Caribbean. That's definitely going to be bringing more rainfall to sections of the Windward and Leeward Islands as it pushes its way towards the west. And we can see a lot of activities taking place across portions of the main development region, but there's a lot of wind shear, so development isn't possible at this time. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday. It was stated that we would have received some amount of morning rainfall across sections of some northern and eastern parishes. Then all of that would have spilled into sections of some southern and western parishes during the afternoon. Eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas. Western parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth. Northern parishes, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Southern parishes, St. Thomas, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. And what ended up happening? As a matter of fact, we indeed got in on that morning rainfall. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Yes, as the visible satellite images were posted on our Twitter page, not only our Twitter page, but our Facebook page, Instagram page, WhatsApp page, not WhatsApp page, TikTok page. So if you're not following us on one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there. And we can see the visible satellite images showing those clouds coming in from the east northeast in the morning. Definitely brings some amount of overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of eastern St. Thomas, Portland, of course, St. Mary, St. Anne, section of Trelawney. Definitely gotten some amount of morning rainfall. And then, just like clockwork in the afternoon, we got in on some amount of afternoon rainfall across sections of some southern and western parishes. Still had some amount of rainfall across the north, especially overcast skies with that upper level wind shear blowing those clouds off towards the east northeast. But we indeed had that afternoon convection across sections of some southern and western parishes, just as predicted. And we even have confirmation of this rainfall. Official Jennifer Harvey stating Spain a washway, so she's stating that Spanish Town in St. Catherine was getting a lot of rain. Corinne Spencer, we're getting rain now in St. Elizabeth, so that indeed confirms the rainfall across sections of some southern and western parishes in Jamaica. And we can see the low level flow even better on the visible satellite images before the sun went down, with those clouds moving from the east northeast towards the west southwest. But it's the upper level clouds that are being pushed out towards the east from that trough across the Cayman Islands, as well as those cumulonimbus clouds during the afternoon, getting their high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the east across Jamaica. And we indeed saw that we had some amount of sparkling white dots across the island, indicating lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. And even up to recording hours, still had some amount of rainfall coming into sections of some northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. St. Mary, Portland, we can see that rainfall that we had across southern Jamaica right there off to the south of Clarendon. And if we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we see exactly where we had the rainfall for today. This map is not 100% accurate, but it does paint a picture that yes, we had that rainfall across sections of northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica, then southern and western parishes during the afternoon. So definitely St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, sections of eastern St. Thomas, sections of maybe western St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth as well. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by 3 a.m. on Monday, later on tonight, the temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston and 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS models are showing 18 on Monday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Monday. And we do see some yellows and some slight orange colors that represent 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures for Monday. I know the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica is about 89 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 31 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 33 degrees Celsius at most. As it relates to the dry air map, we still have that dry air right there across portions of the Gulf of Mexico, off the eastern US coast, across the northern portion of the North Atlantic. We have a lot of moist air across the main development region and the Caribbean, as indicated by the blues, and we can see the key at the bottom that represents all of that dry air. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we can see all of that slight milky color that we had across the eastern Caribbean starting to dissipate. We have more and we have that milky color across the eastern to central main development region that indicates some Saharan dust, but it won't be making its way towards the central Caribbean, including Jamaica, at all for 2 p.m. on a Monday. As it relates to the wave forecast, we do see that it's the east and the south that's going to be getting the 1 meter wave height, while the areas to the north and to the west of the island are going to be getting those lighter shades of blues that represent 0.5 meter wave heights. And we know it by the key on the bottom. The lighter blue show the low wave heights, the darker the blue gets, higher wave heights. And that's due to the fact that the winds are not going to be that strong at all. Only on the eastern portion of the island, where it could gust up to 20 knots, as indicated by those brighter greens, and we can see that it is coming in from the northeast. So definitely more and we have some rainfall coming into sections of some northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica for tonight into tomorrow. And then during the afternoon hours, we'll have all of that air piling up across those areas where we have the blues. That's where all of the air is going to be piling up. So definitely some afternoon convection across sections of some southern and western parishes in Jamaica, just like today. And with that upper level wind shear coming in from the it's coming in from the west northwest for tomorrow, definitely gonna be getting in on some of those overcast skies across sections of some southern parishes, as well as some wet weather, especially across those very spots. So definitely something similar to what took place today. Eastern and northern parishes in the morning, and then during the afternoon, southern and western parishes. That's where the rainfall is expected, and we can see that being confirmed on the rainfall forecast. This is actually 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 a.m. Jamaica time. And where do we see the blues that represent rainfall? We see it right there off the eastern portion of the island. So it's definitely sections of Portland, St. Thomas, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls. So we know when there's consensus, when both maps are showing the same thing like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Skipping ahead to about 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 a.m. Jamaica time. Much of the same. St. Mary, Portland, Eastern, St. Thomas. That's definitely where the rainfall is going to be coming into. Skipping ahead to about 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 11 a.m. Jamaica time, we still have those blues that represent rainfall across the eastern portion of the island. So it won't even be giving them a break. It's just going to be rain, rain, rain straight through for sections of St. Mary, Portland, Eastern, St. Thomas, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls. So there could be some amount of isolated flash flooding taking place with this prolonged rain event. And even by 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time, we still have the blues that represent rainfall across eastern Jamaica, and it's starting to spill into sections of central and western Jamaica as well, especially southern and western Jamaica, as we can see it making more sense on the GFS mall. Euro, something similar, but more in the way of central parishes. Either way, we have the consensus. Both the Euro and the GFS malls are showing rainfall, or now up until 10 p.m. on a Monday. And what do we see as the consensus? Definitely rainfall across the east, especially the northeast and central and western Jamaica as well. But as it relates to the rainfall totals, we see the GFS getting up to 0.47 of an inch of rainfall, while the Euro is getting up to 0.55 of an inch of rainfall. Either way, we are gonna be getting rainfall. We're in the month of October. We're in our peak rainy season, and we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to put some kind of a dent in the drought that we've been experiencing across some areas, or the heat that we've been experiencing. So we'll take all of the rainfall that we can get before we enter our dry months. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can still see Hurricane Tommy right there across the northern portions of the Caribbean. Lots of outer bands bring rainfall to sections of the Leeward Islands, sections of St. Kitts and Nevis, the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, definitely getting in on some rainfall. We saw tremendous video coming out on Twitter of the flooding taking place across sections of Guadeloupe, sections of Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Definitely got in on some amount of rainfall today. We can see the clouds spinning right there off the east coast of Nicaragua associated with that airflow pressure. We do see the usual afternoon rainfall across sections of the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, sections of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, and even sections of French Guiana, Suriname, and Guyana. As it relates to the Doppler radar images, let's take a look at the northeastern Caribbean, where we have Hurricane Tommy. We can indeed see, yes, let me find it quickly. Alright, so we can see where we indeed have that rainfall right there, all trying to spin its way into Hurricane Tommy. Look at that unusual direction for the rain to flow from the southwest to the northeast. We were usually getting that east-west kind of flow. So we can see that rainfall across sections of Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda. We can also see that rainfall across sections of St. Lucia, but we can see that it's starting to dwindle across the Windward Islands, with majority of the rainfall across the northeastern Caribbean. As relates to the Barbados radar, we can see that rainfall coming in from the east associated with that trough that we mentioned earlier. So they're definitely going to be getting on some amount of rainfall later on tonight into Monday. And we can also see some rainfall right there off to the east of Trinidad and Tobago as well. Taking a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall across section of northern Venezuela, as we saw on the satellite images that confirms the rainfall that they got. And as it relates to the temperature forecast, we're going to be seeing up to 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures at most across majority of the Caribbean. As related to Sahara dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, we don't have much to worry about. You can see it dwindling across the eastern Caribbean. Majority of the dust associated with the Sahara Desert is across sections of the central and eastern main development region. Taking a look at the wave forecast, we can see 0.5 of a meter wave heights for the most part across the Caribbean. Maybe the eastern portion of the islands that's going to be getting in on those 1 to 1.5 of a meter wave heights, but the west, the central and western Caribbean, definitely some low wave heights. And that's due to the fact that the winds are not going to be strong at all across the Caribbean in general, coming in from the southwest still across the northeastern Caribbean as all of that area tries to suck its way into Hurricane Tammy, coming in from the northeast across the Greater Antilles, Cuba, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, as high pressure sets up across the eastern United States. And for the most part, it's going to be, some light kind of wind across the waters of the central Caribbean. But we do see the air starting to spin right there across the waters to the east of Nicaragua, associated with that air of low pressure that's starting to get its act together. Let us focus our attention on the rainfall forecast, keeping in mind that all of these maps from the URN JFS models are showing the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday, and we do have the consensus that we don't have much in the way of rainfall to receive across western Cuba, the Bahamas, or Florida, not to mention the Yucatan Peninsula for that matter. Majority of the rainfall seems to be the heaviest across eastern Cuba, sections of Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the islands of the Lesser Antilles, so the Leeward Islands especially, where we're seeing those darker reds and purples. Definitely some more flash flooding from Hurricane Tommy expected. Here south of there, Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of St. Martinique, St. Lucia. More in the way of isolated showers across majority of the Windward Islands, so maybe sections of Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, just some isolated rainfall. But we do see more in the way of rainfall across sections of French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica. Definitely some heavy rainfall for especially eastern Nicaragua, associated with that area of low pressure. Honduras, El Salvador, sections of Guatemala and Belize, more in the way of some isolated showers. And we see that there's consensus. Both of these maps are showing the same thing, and we know that when there's consensus like this, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.